Howdy everybody, my instructional strategy is the I have who has cards. This is going to be more of a student-student interaction strategy than it is me teaching and giving a lecture lesson type of structure. So first things first, I set this up for a second grade classroom focusing on ELA. The teaks for this is the Rule 110.4, number 3. It's talking about vocabulary and sight words. And so this is a great strategy to use going over sight words in ELA. The required materials for this activity would be a set of pre-made I have who has cards, preferably laminated. There are several different ways that they can look, or just depends on the teacher. The set that I would have would be intermediate proficiency level, and it can rise and lower in those proficiency levels based on the number of cards handed out to students. So if I wanted to do an advanced level for students, I would give them a greater amount of cards to use, so the game goes longer and they're required to play more using more sight words. If I wanted to lower that proficiency level, I would only give the students a couple of cards instead of the normal number of like 5 to 6 cards per student. The content objective would be the students will be able to complete the game quizzing their knowledge of sight words with 80% accuracy. The language objectives is the students will be activating their receptive language skills through listening and reading. So I set up an example of what this game would look like in the classroom, just because I can't teach out how it would look, but this is an example of maybe just how it would go for one round. So the teacher would pass out the deck of cards, and depending on the proficiency level, how many cards per student. And what I have seen, it is most beneficial to have at least 4 students working together. More than that is perfectly fine. The game would start with having the students go through and organize their cards so they can see them all at the same time. It's easier for that for second grade if they just lay it out on their desks so they can see all of them at once. The students look for the first card that will be clearly labeled, I have the first card, and then they will say, who has always, and all of the students will look over their cards to see who has the I have always, and then that student will read out, I have always, who has because. Then the next student will go, I have because, who has found. The next students will say, I have found, who has these. And this can be an extensive deck of cards because it can be the whole list of their sight words, and this game can be reused throughout the year because the teacher can just change the sight words on this. And this game can probably be used for other subjects. I just found it most helpful in ELA so that they can work on their vocabulary skills, and the student interaction will be beneficial for them. We can scaffold with needs for language learners by having the teacher at the table with them and helping and looking and seeing who has the card that's being asked about, and just kind of help them with that. The grouping of the students can be specific. The teacher picks them out to who can help who in the best way. I think the student-student interaction will provide a lot of engagement and encourage the students to want to play in a competitive nature. And so I just think that I have who has cards is a good game to play. It's a different activity than a normal lecture style, and it's an effective instructional strategy. Thank you.